Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Fantasy Fullback Dive, brought to you by the good people at the Roto Street Journal, paving your way to fantasy glory, acting as your lead blocker to fantasy excellence, making all your football-related fantasies come true. I'm your host, Nat the Truth Jones. With me, as always, the wolf of Roto Street himself. We're here for the 7th week in a row, like clockwork, leading up to the Thursday night football game. We've had some good ones. We've had some duds. This is probably the worst game on paper that we've had yet this year. So I'm really dying to see what kind of engagement of our diehard fans are going to be with us tonight. Even so, just for the experience, because I'll tell you, the Colts or the Broncos and the Saints is not really moving the needle for me right now too much. How about you, Wolf?
No, it's a tough one to get up for. If you're watching this game, you might have the Broncos D, maybe you have Alvin Kamara.
Yeah.
There's really not a whole lot more. There are a handful of guys, though, that, Javonte Williams, Courtland Sutton, maybe even the creature named Bub Means. There's a handful of guys out there that actually do warrant your fantasy consideration. I'm sure you guys are looking for prop bets or DraftKings lineups or whatever it might be to make this game fun and exciting for you. And oftentimes it ends up being like these gross games end up being the most fun ones. And I love the whole Sean Payton back in the Superdome.
I do like that.
There's some stuff you can kind of get into and dig your teeth into.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be on at least in the background. I'm going to check it out. I do not have any. I don't have any stake in this one. I don't have any players in this particular game. You got any Saints? You got any Broncos?
I do have Broncos D, and I'm hoping for like one of those 20-point outbursts. I really could see it happening tonight.
Yeah, that's a strong pickup. Actually, I could see that being worthwhile.
I could see being the best defense of the week. They're my number 2 currently ranked so far. So I'm stoked about them. But yeah, let's talk our bets and who we want to go after and some news and injuries coming in this game. Because the Saints have been an exciting team. Normally this would be like, okay, the high-flying Saints versus one of the best pass defenses in the league. We got a little bit of a matchup on paper here, but no Chris Olave, no Rashid Shaheed, who at this point
he's out for the year.
Adam Schefter, he might be season ending at this
point. He's out for the year.
Oh, did that officially get confirmed?
I saw the headline on ESPN.
Oh man, what time did that break? Because the last I saw, he was still getting it figured out.
I saw it on the ESPN.com website maybe like an hour or two ago, I feel like.
Okay. Yeah, I got my notes ready at like 5. I must have just missed it because the last I saw was they were determining how serious he was. That's heartbreaking.
No, I think he's done. Real quick. And don't forget, no Derek Carr, right? I mean, is Carr playing tonight, or is it going to be another Spencer Rattler? I mean, is this Spencer Rattler, Bo Nix tilt something that we've been waiting for quite a while?
A rookie showdown of epic proportions. It is kind of crazy that you could get that motivation narrative for Spencer Rattler. Like Bo Nix gets taken high in round 2, and then he's the next quarterback off the board. Like 4 rounds later? Yep. It was at one point considered the number 1 overall pick, the best quarterback in this class. Maybe there's a little added juice for him to try to go out there and show that, Bo Nix this far ahead of me. But, yeah, I don't believe in Rattler. That's why I'm playing Broncos defense. That's why I love them. They're my captain on my DraftKings, which I think will be the case for a lot of people. That's brutal, though, for Rashid Shaheed done for the year. What a stud he has been with the, nearly 30% target share and getting it done on the deep game, but also on those short crossers, the yak opportunities. Like, he's really evolved into a great weapon, and Kubiak used him so well. I got to pour one out for him. That's really too bad.
Going out for him. And all right, so now that we've spent a bunch of time talking about who's not playing, let's talk about the line itself. The Broncos are 3-point favorites going to New Orleans, and the over-under is a whopping 36.5 points. What do you think, Wolf?
I'm going Broncos definitely -3. I think I'll take the point. I don't even need the points. They're going to win. I might even tease that one. I bet you the Broncos win by like 10 tonight. I just look at this on paper, even though they don't have Pat Surtain, so another one of the stars that you'd want to see tonight, not on the field.
I'm playing.
It's rough. There's really not much. But they do get a couple defensive players back tonight. And just in general, it's one of the better defenses that we've seen.
It is. It's a good squad.
This year, they're top 5 in fewest points allowed, 4th with 18.7. They're top 5 in yards allowed, 278 per game. That's 4th. And in passing yards allowed, they're 5th with 170 passing yards allowed per game. They are really cooking on defense, so they are fun to watch. And I don't think Spencer Rattler is going to have much of a day against them, even without Pat Surtain here. And a couple of the betting trends that I'm looking at and leaning into since 2017, Thursday night games with totals of 40 or less are 20-7 to hit the under. 74% rate of hitting. So whether you want to bet the Broncos or Saints, I am definitely hammering the under. I think 36 is way too many points, way too high of an ask for either of these teams. I know it's crazy with New Orleans after they just gave up 51 points to the Bucs, but this is the Broncos. This is a
the Bucs though. The Bucs lead the NFL in touchdowns. Did you know that?
I did not, and I love it. It's not surprising. They are absolutely on fire.
Yeah,
Baker's the man, dude, huh?
You know who's last in touchdowns in the NFL?
Is it the Pats?
No.
Titans?
No.
Who?
The Dolphins.
Oh man, who would have said that coming? I mean, obviously the injuries and whatnot, but yeah, that is wow,
pretty terrible. Anyway, we're lockstep again. I'm taking the Broncos and I'm hammering the under, and I feel pretty confident. I feel more confident about this than I have in any of the ones we've done in the last few weeks. Now, granted, we've been aligned on a lot of these, and we've been missing a lot of them recently. But I feel very good about the Broncos winning the game outright. And I feel like the Broncos. I don't see this. I don't see this being more than like a 17-10 type game. Something.
No, I don't see much more than that either. Broncos also 3-0 against the spread on the road this year. Road favorites last week were 9-0 against the spread in Week 6. So everything's trending towards the road favorites, towards the Broncos, which of course means the Saints are going to smash at home. I know we've been pretty good. Like, I feel like we've gotten half of the equation right every night, but whether we miss the right win or whether we miss the over-under, we haven't been nailing both back-to-back.
No, it's been rare that we've hit them both. We get half of it quite a bit. So we're aligned on that. We're both going the same way. Before we get into some of the we just have a few news hits, questions for the game, and then we'll maybe talk other NFL stuff and hit the mailbag. We did already get a super chat though, which I really do appreciate. Tyler Sperry coming in off the top ropes, giving us $5, which we really appreciate. Broncos defense or Jets, and would you start Mostert if I'm assuming that's Achane? No, wait, what's that say? If a hand isn't cleared over Bigsby and Tracy Singletary might play. Help me translate, Wolf.
Tyler, thank you so much for the super chat. I think you're making us earn our keep here with trying to translate this one.
Oh, he said he just put in there.
I was going to say, I definitely think Achane is who he's talking about, Achane. So would you start Mostert if Achane isn't cleared over Bigsby and Tracy? So it does seem like, the first thing I'd say here is it looks like Achane is practicing in full. I'm expecting him to be cleared. If he's not, again, this is another one, though, that there's just so much to translate, as you're saying here too. Is Singletary going to be in? Is he not? So this is like playing all the hypotheticals, Tyler, here. And thank you. You consistently super chat. It's not unnoticed, Tyler. You shows up every Sunday. He supports his boy. He's coming out on Thursdays, supporting his boy. Like, greatly appreciate it. So in terms of that running back question, like best case scenario for all these guys, I think Tracy's the clear winner. If Singletary sits, I'd have him probably in my top 11, maybe 10 running backs based on what we have seen from him this year as the starter. It does seem like Singletary is trending towards being in, though. So then we look, okay, if Achane's not in, then Mosher's probably the next best, but it looks like Achane's trying to play. Okay, Bigsby, is Etienne going to play? Maybe not. That does seem like a good game script for Bigsby, but I just don't, I can't trust any Jaguars right now other than maybe Brian Thomas and Evan Ingram.
Maybe, but he's hampered by Trevor Lawrence being terrible.
Trevor Lawrence is just so bad. And you think against the Patriots, that's like the one time they should get the lead. They should be pounding the rock. They should be bleeding the clock. I was impressed with Drake May. Maybe I'm just a Pats homer, but I could see the Patriots easily beating the Jags in London.
Demario Douglas, like couple touchdowns.
I love Pop, dude. He looked great. 9 targets in 3 of his last 4. He looks awesome. So, Tyler, this is a really tricky one. And not to dance all around giving you a clear answer. It is just one of those things, though, like until we have a little more information on Sunday, it's so hard to give you a firm answer. I would say best case scenario for everybody, all the guys you expect are out, or not even expect that you wish would be out for these guys, then Tracy's the best play. If only one of them has one of the guys in front of them out, though, that's probably going to be the higher ranked guy because Mostert in the committee, not great. I don't know what to expect from Tracy when Singletary's back, but I do know that Dayball has always loved Motor, and as annoying as it would be, as great as Tracy has looked, I bet you that it would be a 50-50 at best type of situation. I hate to say it. I have Tracy and Singletary on my team, and it's going to kill me to have these guys now nibbling at each other's cheese all the rest of the year. But I just don't think Singletary, who was playing pretty well before he got hurt, and he's just, again, a day ball favorite dating back to their Buffalo days together. I just don't see him disappearing as much as I think a lot of us wish and think he probably deserves to, given how good Tracy has looked. So if it's a worst case scenario for all these guys and they all have their committee partners back, who's the best one to go for? I think I'm going to go with Mostert maybe. Just a touchdown bet. The Colts are such a bad run defense. I know how bad that team has looked, but we saw Jalen Wright get 86 yards on the ground. Mostert got the majority of the work, played about 60% of the snaps. It's tricky though, Tyler. I don't want to not give you like a complete non-answer. And now you make sure you better come back on Sunday. We'd love to have you back. I know you hopefully will show. But we'll know, more about Bigsby. If he teens out, okay, Bigsby's the smash play. It's just one of those really tricky ones. But like right now, how do I rank them? I'd probably rank them Tracy, then Bigsby, then Mostert. It just kind of gunned to my head. If I had to pick one today and I couldn't change it, that's what I would do. But a lot's going to change with that one, Tyler.
All right. Thanks for the
You got to do the defense, though. That's the one that matters for him tonight.
Yeah, I'd say I'd go Broncos.
I think I would too. I would have locked them in just a few days ago, but now all this talk about Russell Wilson potentially starting, I mean, that opens up a lot more sacks. That opens up a lot more potential pick sixes. I don't know what the Steelers are doing because Fields is, he's lost a couple games here and there, but he hasn't been the biggest issue there. He's kept them afloat. He's looked far more dynamic than Russell ever could these last few years. I don't know what they're thinking. I think they're going to lose the locker room real fast if Russ comes out there and he sucks and they don't pull a fast trigger on him. I think he's going to suck. Russell Wilson's horrible. Like, he's going to get mauled behind that. That line is not good. They're all banged up. So, like, I do think it's the Broncos, but the Jets are really, really close. Like, they're about as close as it gets.
I just think the Broncos defense is better than the Jets defense. I mean, I think they both have attractive matchups, but I think the Broncos defense is actually good. I'm not really sold on the Jets defense being all that good. I mean, they've looked good at times and they've gotten carved up at times. So I'm going Broncos tonight, Tyler. That's me. That's my opinion.
I think it's a very good play tonight. You get Spencer Rattler with Bub Means as his
come on. Like Russell Wilson. I mean, Spencer Rattler is not like John Elway 1990.
No, 3 interceptions last week. Even in a shootout game, the Bucs still put up 17 fantasy points because of all the turnovers. I agree. And ultimately, the Jets are my 4th ranked defense. I might even bump them to 3 ahead of the Steelers. I don't even know at this point. That's a tricky one. But either way, my number 2 defense is the Denver Broncos. I'm going to go Broncos for sure. The only team I have above them is the Bills, and you could debate that the Broncos deserve to be ahead of the Bills who are playing Tennessee.
I would start the Broncos. I love it. We were about to hit the questions, but real quick, we just got another really generous super chat from Levi. PPR.
Hey, Levi. Thank you so much.
PPR, start 3 wide receivers, no flex. Starters, Kupp, Godwin, London. That's not too bad. Bench is BTJ, Downs, Sutton, Juju, and Keenan. Need roster space for Chubb off the IR. I just had to deal with this week. Would you trade Downs and Juju and $15 fab to receive DJ Moore?
Pretty good question. There's a lot going on here. So I would say first things first, Levi, Kupp, Godwin, London. As long as Kupp is in, that's how I keep it. I would have Kupp higher than Thomas. As much as I love Thomas, I would definitely play those 3 ahead of any of those other guys. And then it becomes down to the roster space. Like, I don't want to cut any of those guys. I like DJ Moore. I don't love him. You see Keenan Allen getting 2 touchdowns last week. Komet's still a monster there.
I think his thinking is to clear the roster space. It's not that he loves DJ Moore necessarily. It's like he trade 2 for 1, and then he's got the roster space for Chubb.
Exactly. And I get that. And ultimately, with that in mind, I probably would pull this trigger because DJ Moore is better than either Downs or Juju. And the fab is not a horrible thing to lose. Plus, then you get Chubb, locker room presence reemerging for you. It's huge. There's no overstating like what a player like Chubb coming off the IR, whether you use him this week or whether you just have the motivation. Truth. And Levi, I don't mean to not answer your question, but did you read his Player Tribune article?
Yeah.
Oh,
I'm in.
So great. Like how he was like, I don't need any fancy gyms. I went to my old high school gym. They have a water fountain. They have a weight set. That's all I need. Like, I love him. Just wanted to.
I know it shouldn't matter, but didn't that just make you think you should start him?
Yes, 100%. Like the first thing he does, I don't need no fancy rehab. He just goes back to his high school gym, starts squatting 700 pounds. Like the man is something special. Ford's going to be out. Like they didn't say, he kind of dodged around like what workload can we expect? And it was one of those kind of non-answers. Like we're still evaluating how much work to give him. But within that answer isn't like you could read that as he's not restricted. We're going to give him 30 carries. Now, probably not. We all can be smart about it. It's not
3 down bad. No, I'm in. So I'm in. We could talk about Chubb forever. Not necessarily part of the question. He's obviously making roster space for him. I think we both agree on those 3 starters, even though we love BTJ. And I would personally probably make this deal just to clear the roster space. DJ Moore is an upgrade, even though I don't love him either. But yeah, I think I would do it, Levi.
The one thing I would push, I think I do end up pulling the trigger, but I would see, is there anybody other than DJ Moore you could make this move for? Because,
sure.
Downs, what'd you say?
I said, sure. If you can get somebody better, that would be great.
Oh shit. I think I lost.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Exactly. I mean, of course, if you can get better, you go for better. And I just don't love DJ Moore. That's why I'm hesitant. I look at Josh Downs, for example, and I see a guy that when Flacco plays, I'd rather have him in my lineup than DJ Moore. I truly would. But we just don't know. At this point, it does seem like we're not going to get Flacco. It's going to be Anthony Richardson for the time being. But if at any point we did get a Flacco takeover, well, you gave away the best player in this deal. I actually really like Juju. I'm a huge fan of him with the Chiefs. I think he got so disrespected on the waiver wire. I picked him in every league I have him. I'm so excited. Like I have him literally in 7 out of 8 leagues. 7 catches, 8 targets, 130 yards, diet Rashid Rice, like looked legitimately like that chain moving guy. Looked like he was moving way better than any type of Juju we've seen for the last 2 or 3 years. Had 980 yards with Mahomes just a couple of years ago on 78 catches. There's a track record there. So you're not giving up nothing. Like I get that you want to clear roster space, but like if at any point Flacco takes over this QB job, and if Juju really does end up being that diet Rashid Rice, either one of those guys could end up proving to be more valuable than DJ Moore. So it's you're making a team a lot better by giving him the 2 guys. Like you got to keep that in mind as well.
That's a fair point. And you are improving. You are improving another team. It might make sense to just drop a guy.
But then it's okay. So then, who do we drop? That becomes the really tough choice here. It's like you have to then drop one of these guys anyways.
I'm going to give
probably
you a hot
would have
take.
to be Juju, maybe Keenan Allen.
I don't know, man. I would.
Keenan Allen just had 2 touchdowns.
I would think of. Courtland Sutton's not. I don't know. I don't love.
Yeah, he could potentially just chop off Courtland Sutton. We're going to talk about him in just a second here.
Right. Let's. Yeah. So I don't know. That's what I would do. But I agree with the Wolf. Like you think about the fact that you might be improving somebody else. I'm dealing with a very similar issue here. I'm thinking of throwing around some 2-for-1 deals, just basically so I don't have to drop somebody. But then I'm like, I really want to give somebody else 2 pieces. It's a good point, Wolf.
Yeah, it depends how good you're making this team, and that trade could really work out good for them. For DJ Moore, who I like, but I don't love. I don't think you're ever getting that much consistency. But I get the move, and gun to my head, you can't find any other trade partners, and you can't get better than DJ Moore. Yeah, I think I pulled the trigger.
All right, let's go to the first question. We're 18 minutes in. Haven't hit one of the questions yet, although we do have over 7.
Because you guys have been so generous with the super chats. Thank you again so much, Levi, Tyler. You guys both have consistently showed us love on those super chats. It keeps the lights. It really does go such a long way for us, guys. But you guys don't need to super chat. Just one quick plea for that thumbs up button, the heart button on Twitter, the thumbs up on YouTube, the likes, the shares, the retweets. A good, free, easy way to help your boys out. I only put 3 questions because I know there's not a whole ton of fantasy juice to dive into, but there are still some interesting questions. I think I've already seen some in the mailbags about this guy right here.
Yeah. It's going to come up. Also, Wolf, we're 19 minutes in. We got 720 plus people.
We were sitting here like, is anybody going to show up for a horrible game? You guys are the best.
Yeah, seriously.
Yeah, let's go.
Can't tell you how much we appreciate it, guys. It's great to see you. Tell some more people. Let's hit 1,000 today, even with the game being bad. All right. Is Javonte Williams worth a start against a reeling Saints run D? I mean, maybe. I don't know, man.
Yeah.
I'm so underwhelmed by Javonte Williams. I know you got some stats and stuff to throw. I'd be interested to hear what you think.
So let's paint the picture for you, and I'll give you my ultimate take.
Okay.
Last week, season high in snap share, 68%. Season high route share, 63%. A nice, solid day there. Ultimately, though, what did he turn that into? 23 yards on the ground and 13 yards
And
through the air.
13 in the air,
And a
right.
fumble. And
And
losing a fumble. And that fumble is where I really want to drag like the line here, because we saw Audric Estime immediately start mixing in after that. And it just does not look like Javonte Williams, which is too bad, because when he was a rookie, I mean, one of my favorite guys to watch, so violent, but had the jukes too, one of those guys that can make you miss in a phone booth when he's 230 pounds. How's a guy wiggling like this, and how's he bursting down this field with that type of size? He was so fun to watch, and it's just not the same guy anymore. It's a brutal injury, and sometimes that just unfortunately happens here. He's had 23 or fewer yards rushing in 4 of 6 games. I mean, that's really, really bad. His season high is 77, so he hasn't really even hit a massive season. His best was a 16-point day. He was the running back 11 that week, but otherwise he's been pretty mediocre at best.
I think he's been fringe RB2 one time. Other than that, he's been outside the top 24 and significantly outside the 24. I mean,
right.
So I'm underwhelmed. We've seen this a lot with a few teams this year. I mean, haven't we seen several times? We've seen a fumble and then it's you're done.
Yeah. This is not his first fumble. He's put the ball on the ground a few times here. And the one other positive here is the matchup. That's probably the only reason people are asking about him, is the Saints giving up the 8th most points to backs on the year, but especially these last 4 weeks. Barkley, 31 points. Both Falcons do get held to 9, but then Kareem Hunt has nearly 20 points. He does have 20 in a PPR league, 18 in a half PPR league. And then we saw Sean Tucker get 32 points, and Bucky also still chip in 17. So they've been getting absolutely murdered. 5 touchdowns rushing over their last 4 games. They've been getting smoked on the ground over that span, over 134 yards per game, 2 backs, most in the league on that span as well. So it's a great matchup. It couldn't be any riper. And I do think they're going to be controlling the clock. It's going to be a run-heavy script. But I would also then say Audric Estime. I think this guy is going to become the future feature back of the Broncos, and it might start tonight. And so 800 a year watching with us, if there's one thing I could do before this game, it would be drop my kicker or drop any piece of bench trash I have and see what Audric Estime does. I'm a huge fan of this guy. 240. The 40 time wasn't great, but then the time speed was really fast in miles per hour on the actual football field. And then on his pro day, he ended up running a 4, 5, 6. Everybody does. I get it. But this guy's a bulldozer. He's shifty. He's big. He reminds me a lot of what we just saw from Ray Davis, that short, squat, bowling ball type of guy that can really run all over you. And last game, after Javonte Williams put the ball on the ground, we heard Sean Payton say, "We're a young team. I want to see that runner as well, Audric Estime. I want him out there." And Sean Payton loves this guy. He hand selected him. Said we couldn't believe he fell to us when we got him in round 5. Obviously, you're gonna say that about your guys, but he really does have that kind of Mark Ingram big style body build with more bulldozer. He's just a bulldozer. I'm really excited to see this kid play. I think he's going to end up being one of the big prime waiver wire pickups of week 8. Why not get ahead? You get ahead of the rush. Don't have to pay your $20 a fab. Pick this guy up, because I think this bad run D is for real. I think Estime is going to end up being the one that ultimately exploits it. Could Javonte get in? Could he have a big day? Sure. I'm not trusting on -8 ECR. I'm likely benching Javonte. Let us know what your questions are, but I'd rather have.
It all depends on your team. I got 5 running backs significantly better than him, so I'm not rolling him out.
I wouldn't put him in my lineup this week. I don't want to trust him. So I'm with you there.
Before we get to question 2, Stephen Drakes has come in and has been very generous with us. Gentlemen, half-point PPR. I need 4: Achane, Mason, Hubbard, Gibbs. He's got Hubbard on there twice, and Walker. Also, I heard Benson should be stashed. I've heard Connor may be hurt. So really, Wolf, we're looking to eliminate one player because he's got Hubbard on there twice.
Yeah. So and let us know, Steven. We can see the comments too. If you meant somebody else other than Hubbard twice, I'll take the second Hubbard over the first one. But
I'm down there. So if you met somebody else, I'll let us know.
Yeah. But if you met someone else, we want to make sure you get the right answer. And thank you, Steven, again. You always super chat. You're always generous. So greatly appreciated.
That you didn't repeat there. You have some very strong running backs here.
Yeah, this is really tough. I would say Walker's a lock for me. He's a top 5 running back every week rest of the season.
Walker's probably top of the list for me right now.
Yeah, me as well. I'd say, honestly, Hubbard might be my next. The second Hubbard, not the first one.
Right. The first Hubbard.
It would be my favorite. Truly, though, since Andy Dalton's become the quarterback, he hasn't had less than 15 points in a game. He's had multiple huge games. It's just all the next-gen stats, rushing yards over expectation, success rate, all that stuff really tells you that this guy's playing well. Like, he's top in the league, number 1 in so many of those advanced analytics. He's playing he's playing some great football right now as Chuba Hubbard. And so I just, the sheer volume, the way he's playing, and you get Washington, a great matchup where I think both teams are going to put a lot of points up. I'm going to go Walker. I'm going to go Hubbard. You can't not have Gibbs. I know he's with Monty.
You got to start Gibbs, even though it's a bad matchup.
Bad matchup against Minnesota. Monty's actually the more valuable guy so far this year. I know all that's annoying.
Real quick, Wolf. He says Hunt was meant to be the.
Oh, yes. That does change things up. I still pick those first 3, but Hunt really does complicate the final 3. I would say if Mason's in, it's probably him, but the Chiefs are the hardest matchup for running backs. He is dinged up, so it's like, dude, is it more of a timeshare? Does he flare something up and not play? And he might not play anyway. So if it came down to Achane and Hunt, and you know what? I kind of just really like Kareem Hunt. He just had 25 carries for a Chiefs Andy Reid offense. Like, this is going to be the guy till Pacheco comes back. And maybe he just maybe Pacheco doesn't come back. We'll find out how that goes. But he was the clear, 60% of the snaps and touches, and really looked good on him. Like 18 fantasy points last week out in half PPR settings. I feel great about Hunt moving forward, and the 49ers really aren't that intimidating of a defense right now. So I lean Hunt over I'm glad you added him in, Steven. I'm going to go definitely Walker, Hubbard, Gibbs. The next one is close. I personally think I just go Hunt, unless we do get like Mason's ready to go. He's 100%. Like, he's been so damn good that I would have a hard time not playing Mason. But if we get any type of, he's still banged up, it might be a time split. It probably will be a time split. I am leaning Hunt as of this moment.
I think that is pretty much exactly how I would analyze it. What I think is funny is that both of us are just like, Achane is 6th on this list.
I know, and it sucks too because he gets the Colts. Like, he could just come out there and rip a 90-yard touchdown. The Colts are so bad.
He could, but it's funny that we both have him just almost immediately at the bottom of this 6-man pile. I mean, it's crazy how things change.
Yeah, and it really is like, I hate to play I want to see it again from Achane before I put him in there, because once you see it, you're going to be like, damn it, like, that's 27 points that should be in my lineup right now. That could definitely happen against the Colts, but it's really, until I see it from any of those guys, and it's really like until Tua is back almost for me, unless Huntley really comes out of the bye and is cooking, like, I just don't want to play Dolphins. Like you said, truth, the lowest touchdowns in the league.
They average on the season 1 touchdown a game.
Ugh, that's bad. And they had I think they had all those touchdowns in week 1. Like, they have, right. I bet you they haven't scored a touchdown in like 4 out of their 6 games.
Can you remember it happening recently? I can't.
No.
Right. No. They have 5 touchdowns this year, dude. Anyway.
Yeah. And the last part of that question with Benson. So I would say this, Steven, like, one, if you have that room for a stash, he definitely makes sense. Connor left the game late. It seems like he's fine. There hasn't been a ton of stuff on the injury report about him yet. So he's probably going to play, but you know the story here with Connor at this point. Misses 3+ games a year. But this is the thing is when Connor missed that end of the game, the last quarter or so, DeMarcado played 72% of the snaps, 73% of the routes. Like, Benson's definitely the lead guy. Not even definitely. Like, DeMarcado was clearly the guy. They were in a trailing game script. I think that's a lot to do with it because DeMarcado had proven in pass protection, fine receiver. So in those type of scripts, I do think DeMarcado is going to get the nod. I do think Benson, if all things are equal and it's a neutral to their leading script, I do think Benson would be the more care guy. And I mean, we're talking a guy with size, speed that rivals Breece Hall, an athletic freak in Trey Benson. So sure, he's absolutely worth a stash, especially like him though. If you could pick up Estime tonight, and if Estime does nothing, okay, you churn him, you cut him, you pick up Benson. I love playing like one spot on my roster to have that type of rotational like handcuff piece. And I think Estime, you could go Kendre Miller if you really want to tonight, but I definitely prefer Estime myself. I love picking him up and stashing him ahead of tonight and just seeing what happens. And I've been pretty good about that this year. Like, I had Ray Davis on Monday night. There've been a few times Kareem Hunt, there's been a few guys that I've gotten that week ahead on, and it saved you, $40 on the waiver wire. If Estime comes out here, gets 15 to 20 carries tonight, which really could happen, everyone's going to be bidding him up huge. This guy is a talent. So
we do have
I would start with him as a stash.
We do have a few estimate questions in the comments, but we do have to deal with Papa Samo.
Thank you, Papa.
Throwing us a $5. Yeah, we guys, we'll get to the second question eventually, but right now you guys are making it rain, and we sure do appreciate it. About half an hour in, we're getting close to 1,000 people in here, which is pretty crazy.
Love it.
$5. We appreciate it. Papa Samo, who also has some earlier questions. So I don't know if this is going to be a repeat of one we might hit later, but regardless, we'll give it our attention. We have AJ and Kyron at wide receiver 1 and running back 1.
Ooh.
Half PPR. I know that's not bad. I need 1 wide receiver, 1 running back, and a flex. He's got Deontay. He's got Harrison. He's got Ayuk. He's got Downs. He's got Dobbins, and he's got Connor. And then he says, and we appreciate this, smash the like for the boys. Smash it.
Indeed. Smash the like for the boys. New subs. I see a bunch of new names out there. Would love to have you join the channel as we climb towards 5,000. Papa Sarno, I would say, assuming he's in, I know Deontay has not practiced the last couple of days, but if he's in against Washington, it's kind of the norm for him. He's just getting these maintenance days because he's such a target hog. This dude's averaging nearly 27% first read targets, like 30% target. The guy is taken over with Andy Dalton. Andy Dalton, you've all seen the clip at this point where he's talking, I'm looking for you. I'm going to you. Just keep getting open out there. And he just peppers him. And so against Washington, the worst secondary in the league, one of the worst at least, I love Deontay this week. So of all these guys, to me, Deontay is the clear number 1 receiver. Then for the running back, I got to go Dobbins. I mean, Arizona.
Absolutely. I'm going Dobbins.
What do you have, 25 carries last week, like 80% of the snaps and touches.
Yeah.
Vidal looked good on his limited work, but no, this is the Dobbins show now. And as long as he's healthy, the lead back and a Greg Roman offense and a good matchup, sign me up all day. So Deontay, give me Dobbins. The flex to me, if Connor's healthy, maybe you go Connor, but you have to wait till Monday. That gets a little sketchy. Well, the thing is, though, you also have Harrison, who's also
right. Harrison's going the same day because he's the other one I might be kind of leaning towards if he's healthy. But it's, again, you're waiting until Monday.
Yeah, I would say as of now, I would be waiting for a Cardinal. Now, if we get reports, Sarno, that both Harrison and Connor are seeming unlikely, then sure, you toss in Ayuk, you get him in a shootout, hopefully against the Chiefs. He's been horrible. I'm not an Ayuk guy right now, and I avoided him everywhere. So thankfully, he was one of the busts. The guy, if I hit anything right in the guy, which it was pretty good this year, I think for the most part, a lot of our guys, James are hitting good. But the busts, man, I knocked those out of the park, like Travis Etienne, Olave, Brandon Ayuk, like the early round busts. I think if I helped anybody make some money, it was avoiding a lot of landmines.
Not to toot my own horn, but I was all over Olave not being good this year.
Yeah.
I believe you and I were. Didn't we go against MOH on that take?
Probably. We often are against MOH, and the old boomers over here often take them down.
Every now and then we're right.
Every now and then. Yeah.
So anyway, we're aligned on that one. Thank you so much for the super chat. We appreciate it. And all right, let's hit question 2.
All righty, let's plow on forward. Thank you guys so much. So much generosity here on Thursday night. You love to see it. And again, let's push over. You're saying truth. Maybe we'll hit 1,000 tonight. Look at it. We're already at 982.
We're gonna definitely hit that. Unless all these
maybe that like button on Twitter, maybe that thumbs up button on YouTube. That would be so appreciated, guys. Thank you so much for all being here and all the generous super chats. Papa Sarno, Stephen Drakes, Levi. You guys are the best. Who kicked off the super chats? I completely blanked on the name right there.
Our first super chat was Tyler Sperry.
Yeah. Right. Oh yeah, Tyler. Love you, Tyler.
Thanks a lot,
Thank you so much. Always tossing it in, kicking off.
Question 2.
But yeah, question number 2.
We talked about Javonte. Same thing. What about Courtland Sutton? I teased that I might cut the guy on that group of receivers we had earlier. And the Wolves said we're going to get to that. So what about him? What about Courtland Sutton?
Well, something that's crazy about this guy. 47 targets on the season, 7.8 per game. That's 14th most in the league. He has more targets right now than Mike Evans. He has more targets right now than Terry McLaurin. He has more targets right now than Jamar Chase.
Not doing quite as much with him, though.
No, not quite as efficient as Jamar Chase. we can say that for sure. But it is, volume is volume, and 20% plus target share in all but one game, 25% targets on the year. Like Saints do give up the 11th most points to wide receivers. there's a spot here. Now, I do see, though, you see the guys that have really killed the Saints. And we're looking at, Chris Godwin last week, Juju the week before. It is these kind of layup guys. And Sutton has the big body. He has been a chain mover. So I could see him potentially filling that role. But you could also see Lattimore now going out on him and shadowing him and taking him out kind of like he did with Mike Evans the week before. So I do think it is a risk with Sutton. I do love the volume. You're going to get some touches here. It obviously comes down to who you're comparing him to.
Right. Who do you got?
Similar to Javonte, and maybe it's a sign that I burped up a little throw up is talking about Courtland Sutton there. He probably shouldn't be in your lineup. Again, it's some bye weeks are out there, and you're talking about a guy that's 14 in the league in targets, so there is space for him. It just depends on who your other guys are. I have him right around wide receiver 40 or so. So yeah, is he startable? Sure. Do I want to start him? No. So let us know what your question is. If Lattimore was out, I would feel a lot better about it, but he's playing. So yeah, I don't love it.
I mean, this guy's been a wide receiver 2 once this year. Once. We're not doing it. I don't think we're doing it. It depends. Look, my team was a disaster a couple of weeks ago. And I could have used like maybe a Courtland Sutton for a spot start or something like that. But no, if my team is even remotely healthy or decent, there's no way I'm rolling this guy out. And that brings us up to question number 3. Speaking of who you're going to throw to, now the Wolf just threw up a little bit in his mouth a second ago when he was talking about Courtland Sutton. Now let's talk about the potential targets on the New Orleans Saints. Who is Spencer Rattler going to spray that ball around to? And we referenced him a little earlier. We've actually gotten a couple questions already in the comments about this guy. Does the name Bub Means mean anything to you?
Well,
Bub Means.
It means something to me that like there's a human being named Bub Means, and we actually have to talk about him. I love that. That is incredible.
I just found out who's the Broncos receiver named like Lil something?
Lil Jordan Humphrey.
Right. I just learned a couple weeks ago Lil Jordan Humphreys exists, and now I know Bub Means exists. And guess what? My life is better off for both of them. I really appreciate both of those tidbits. Go ahead, Wolf.
Your life is definitely better once you've made aware of Bub Means. But is your fantasy life better by having him in it? Let's find out. 6% rostered right now. He did step up last week, though, when Olave went out. 8 targets, 5 catches, 45 yards, and a score. He caught Rattler's first and only touchdown pass so far. We have no Surtain tonight. I still think, though, Broncos defense, even without Surtain, that changes things. There's no doubt about it. But they are allowing the second fewest pass yards per play on the season. They get to feast on this rookie quarterback. I think they're really going to be getting pin the ears back and get after him big time. But we're talking about a guy in Bub Means. He only trailed Rome Odunze with 34 targets of 20-plus yards last year. He was a deep field stretcher in college, and he did a really solid job of it. And the athleticism's there. He's 6'1", long arms at 33.25 inches, big hands with 10.25, like that kind of classic, like rangy, go up and snatch it out of the air. He's got 39.5-inch vertical, 4'4", 340, big size there. There's a lot to like about the guy. I just don't think I like it against the Broncos defense with Spencer Rattler commanding it. Now, do I like having him on my team, though? With Rashid Shaheed now done for the year, with Olave consistently banged up, I think there is space to roster this guy. There's no doubt about it. I think you'd have to be pretty desperate to get him into your lineup tonight, though.
I mean, my roster on my team is pretty bad, and there's not room for him on my roster. I can tell you that. But Wolf, what about Mason Tipton?
No. That's the next guy up.
We're not going to give him any airtime?
No, I don't think we're giving Mason Tipton any airtime tonight. I will say the one other pass catcher I would mention, and I actually could see fantasy owners, I have to start him in a 16-team league, which is not feeling good, but my tight end's on bye. And we know that Taysom Hill's going to be out tonight. I think Juwan Johnson, I know, it's bad. I have him starting in a league. I don't feel happy about it. But we've seen Juwan Johnson pop up for multiple 2-touchdown days. Every season he seems to pop up for like 2 big games. And if there's any position that's been okay against the Broncos when you're passing against them, the tight ends have been by far like the most productive. And so with no Taysom Hill, a converted X receiver, big body like Juwan Johnson that has had spike weeks, I really just don't have any other options. Noah Fant's gone. Like everybody's gone. I'm looking at Theo Johnson is like the next possible option for me. And so I'm just going to roll the dice and just hope that there's no one else to throw to. Bub Means and Juwan Johnson. So they're hard leagues where, again, 16-teamer, like I'm in that one, where you might have to consider a Bub Means, where you have to consider a Juwan Johnson. I'm not going to go to Mason Tipton. Like I'll stick to Bub Means.
That was a joke. I wasn't actually wanting you to give him any airtime. We got too big of a mailbag.
Yeah.
I do want to close with this, though, Wolf, when we just talk about the marquee matchup that is this Broncos Saints game. You know how, like, if we were going to see the Chiefs and the Bills, there'd be, you'd see Pat Mahomes and Josh Allen, like, squaring up next to each other in the graphic.
Yeah.
Have you seen the graphic for this game?
No.
Do you care to take a guess?
I mean, Broncos, is it Bo Nix? Like, you probably have to go. No, it's not.
No, it's not.
Who the hell is it? Like, Surtain's out, so
no, it's not Surtain. This is just we're really just digging real deep here. It is Sean Payton for the Broncos and Cameron Jordan.
I love Cam Jordan.
Sure, but I mean, come on.
Like, you're digging pretty deep. Yeah, we don't have Mahomes and Josh Allen squaring off.
This is this will get the people in the door, right? Anyway, so that's our questions. We're ready to hit the mailbag. We do have some other NFL news we can talk about, but let's see how quickly we can get through the mailbag. We do have a lot of engagement today. We have almost 1,100 people in here, which we are super appreciative of. But let's get to some questions. Yeah, it's so great, man. You guys are here every week. More and more of you every week, it seems like.
Incredible. Thank you guys again so much. And as we hit this mailbag, again, like you said, 1,100 of you. I've seen a lot of new names in there. Would love to see you guys, if you don't mind, hitting that thumbs up button, helping us get out to more people, the heart button on Twitter, the retweet, all that stuff. It really does. Every little bit helps us out so much. So thank you again so much for being here. Is this the first one you're seeing, Truth?
Yeah. This is the first one. We'll be done with this by kickoff, guys. If we have a significant amount of mailbag left by 8, the Wolf will go rapid fire. But I don't think we've failed to get through the whole mailbag all year yet. So we got a pretty good system going. First question, sit one, Tank, Tyreek Hill, Devontae Smith, Cooper. We're talking about half PPR.
Oh, man. I think I'm sitting Tyreek here.
I was going to say, I know who I'm sitting, and it's Tyreek Hill, and I can't believe it.
Yeah, obviously, again, if Kupp doesn't play, yeah, sure, you toss Tyreek Hill, and he's fine as a wide receiver 3. A Colts defense really struggling to give up big plays, but I just can't play a Tyler Huntley-led offense. Like you said, averaging under 180 pass yards per game, no touchdowns. Like, no thanks. I'm good on that. I'll believe it when I see it. Maybe out of the bye, they find new life, but I think it's really going to come down to when Tua comes back to when I trust my Dolphins again.
Agree. Same guy, new question, Singletary, Bucky, Goodson, sit one, half PPR.
I think I got it. I mean, Goodson, like, really? I don't know. Like, if Trey Sermon doesn't play and Jonathan Taylor's okay, yeah, you play Goodson, but I'm not playing the number 2 behind Trey Sermon at this point. Singletary's really tricky. I wish I could sit all these guys because, like, even though I love Bucky, I have Bucky. They're now talking about a 3-headed committee with a hut hand situation. And you think Bucky gets the hut hand, but they're going to keep giving these guys. It's just going to be tough to trust Bucky.
I agree with you completely. I wish I could.
3 of these guys. I don't know, Truth. I don't like any of these guys.
I don't either, and I'm disheartened. I'm validated because I feel exactly the same way, but I'm disheartened to hear you say that about Bucky, but I believe that you're correct. I'm extremely worried about it too, which makes me want to ask you the question just straight up right now. Would you start Nick Chubb over Bucky?
I mean, after that Players Tribune article,
right. I mean, come on.
The squatting at the high school gym, all I need is a water fountain and a weight set. Like, he's my guy. He's a locker room presence. I probably would put Chubb in over Bucky.
I lean in that way. Real quick, we do have a quick super chat to hit. Pretty straightforward question. Thank you, by the way, Robert Simmons. Bub Means or Juju?
So much, Robert.
Bub Means or Juju, given the hammy?
I know. It's so easily Juju until this hammy thing popped up. I still got to wait it out for Juju. I really do think he's going to be like Diet Rashid Rice, 8 targets, 7 catches, 130 yards. If the hammy ends up being serious and he ends up not playing, all right, damn, like we'll have to find somebody else. But I don't think it's like maybe Bub Means has a good night because truly they have no one else to throw to. I could see him having an okay game, but like I want to still love Bub Means, and I can just see like you playing Bub Means, getting one catch for 5 yards, and never wanting to see the name Bub Means again. And I don't want to ruin the name Bub Means for you, Robert Simmons.
Right.
I have a lot of joy in my life because I know this man exists and we care about him right now. That's not the type of guy you want to. On the flip side, if you play him and he gets you 20 points and now you have Bub Means like over your opponent going all week, like that's a pretty big edge. Like you can't discount that either.
Yeah.
But I still got to go Juju here, truth. Like I don't think I don't know anything about the hamstring. It's a little weird that he was full on Wednesday and then limited with a hammy. Like, did he suffer something in practice? If that's the case, he's going to be out this week. But I do think like we could find something to replace like that equals Bub Means on the waiver wire. And we don't have to risk having a Bub Means egg in our lineup throughout the week.
Bub Means egg. Oh, I agree with you, actually. All right. Next question, I think, is from Magic Mike. Thanks again, Robert. We appreciate it.
Thank you so much, Robert. I really appreciate it.
Late to the party, but congrats on the new house, Wolf. Absolutely.
Thank you, man. Really appreciate it. Yeah.
Some lineup advice, full PPR, looking for a running back and a flex. Who's it going to be? Chuba, the Devontaes, Adam and Johnson, Monty, or Josh Jacobs? Wow. Okay. Running back and a flex. I know where I'm leaning. I'm interested to know what you think.
I mean, this is a great lineup. Like, this is very, very tough. I think I'm going to go Chuba and Monty is where I'm leaning with this.
That's where I'm going too. I mean, look, the Monty matchup is not good, but have you just had a chance to just look at his performance? I mean, he's like a guaranteed 15 points every week.
Yeah.
He always scores.
He's spiking more often this year too than he did last year. A few 20-pointers already.
Yeah. He had 2
He's the heart and soul. Like, you know, they gave him that huge contract, 2-year, $18 million extension, just to and the week after they give him 20-something carries. He plays more than Gibbs, and I love Gibbs. He's so electric. Like, if I had to pick one of these guys for my team, it's probably Gibbs. But Monty,
Monty's outscoring him.
Monty's definitely outscoring him. He's definitely steadier. And if like you're gonna beat I could see them really like embracing the like tough Monty type of. They do that every week, so it's not a shocker. But especially in this game too, with the Vikings, where you just want to ground them, you want to pound them, you want to keep Justin Jefferson off the field. Like, I'm definitely thinking Monty, as good as the defense is, like they just can run on everybody. That line for the Lions is so good that they can just pound it down anyone's throat. And I think they're going to do that with Monty. He's so safe. And Chuba has been so safe too. And I know full PPR, it's like, I mean, Devontae Adams, I'm guessing that's Deontay Johnson, not Devontae Johnson, but close enough. I love him in full PPR too. That's really close. But I feel so good about both those running backs getting you 15. And they both have the ceiling to get to 20. Adams is definitely more of a wait and see. Josh Jacobs is distant behind those other 2 running backs. So it really comes down to Chuba, Monty, and then if you really wanted to get Deontay in, you could consider him over those guys. But I go with the running backs.
I'm going with the running backs, and I will say I agree that Davante Adams is a wait and see type thing. But you better believe when he gets out on that field, Rodgers is going to be trying to force feed the guy the ball. I mean, there's no 110%. Question about it. So, like, you know, we'll see. But, yeah, I'm going with the backs as well.
Absolutely.
Eric Bugman, what's up, man? Defense, Denver or Colts? Quarterback, Murray, Geno, or May? Wow. Go ahead.
I would go Denver for sure as the defense,
Absolutely.
No doubt about it.
That one's easy.
And I like the Colts, too. They're a good stream this week, but 10 out of 10 times that's Denver.
Denver's a better call, I think.
The quarterback one's real tough, Eric, and I'm not going to lie. Like, maybe it's the crazy Pats fan.
I know what you're going to say.
I'm going to say Drake May here. I look at my rankings, and I rank it that way. I'm +5 ECR on Drake May. I'm drinking the Kool-Aid. There's no doubt about it. But you look at what the guy just did, 20 fantasy points in a much tougher matchup against Houston, 3 touchdowns. 3 turnovers, okay. But we're talking fantasy here. The guy can run 38 rush yards, 5 scrambles. His scramble rate in one game is already higher than everybody other than Jaden Daniels. The guy he's under pressure all the time. He has to scramble to save his life. And, you know, he's getting it done. And now he gets the Jags. This is what really seals the deal for me with Drake May is the Jags in schedule adjusted points, like, which means essentially like on your average, how much more do quarterbacks typically score than what their average output is? Quarterbacks are scoring 12.8 more points per game against the Jags than their typical average. 12 more points, like 25 points for, Josh Allen goes 30 points, 25 points for CJ Stroud. Like it's just the 4 straight games they've given up at least 23 fantasy points to the quarterback.
That's
insane. An abysmal defense.
That's insane. That's a real number. Okay. Well, I mean, I'm starting Demario Douglas just based completely on the fact that he's going against the freaking Jags. So yeah. Okay. I hear you.
The next closest, by the way, on that stat truth in terms of like league average, how many points you add, the second worst team is adding 3 points to the quarterback's total. That's how bad the Jags are. Like they are truly. That's
not nothing.
No. So I know it sounds crazy, Eric, like benching Murray for May. I do it. Murray's been very underwhelming. Right. I mean, Geno's probably like the healthy middle ground of like floor and ceiling between both those guys. So if you really want to go a little safer, you go Geno. But I'm telling you, May's the highest in my rankings.
You're not going to get a better matchup for May. So we'll see what he's made of. I agree with you. I like that call. I wouldn't have, going into the question, I probably wouldn't have said that, but you make a strong case.
There we go.
All right. Papa Samo, we've actually already answered his next question. We did it in the super chat, which we really appreciate.
All righty. So are you able to pick up the sticks for just a second, Truth, so I can tweet something out real quick?
Pick up the banners?
You got to click on the questions for just the next few.
Yeah, sure.
I'll keep answering and paying attention. I just had one Twitter thing I wanted to get out here.
Absolutely.
While we're talking.
All right. So Eric.
And I'll tell you guys live what I'm tweeting out because you might even be watching. You might be on my Twitter. I really want to make sure like I stamp Audric Estime before this game starts. I think he's going to take over the backfield tonight. Okay. And I will try to be stashing him everywhere. Which is going to be tough because we're streaming. We have a lot of questions.
We're streaming live. Look, there's already the person that I'm playing in my league this week picked him up and told us so in the comments. So
I love it.
He's totally on you running your mouth. Eric Buckman, wide receiver, pick 2, Garrett Wilson, Jameson Williams, Kirk, and Leggett. I have Ingram as my tight end. Thank you, sir. I'll tell you what I think. Do you want to answer or what do you want? I mean, I can tell you what I think.
I would go. I'm going to go definitely Garrett Wilson.
Yeah.
Even though they have Javonte Adams here, like you just got to go with the talent there.
Yeah, he's my number one though.
He's clearly the number one there. So is the Jay Williams? It depends, Eric. If it's Jameson Williams, it's a no-brainer.
Well, that's what I'm assuming it is, and that's why those were my picks.
Oh, okay. So he said wide receiver. So yeah, it's not Javonte.
Jameson Williams. So I feel pretty confident.
It's Wilson and it's Williams. Yeah, the other two are distant. When Ingram plays, Kirk does not do nearly as well without him. And then you have Ingram at your tight end. So I didn't even see that until that part. So easy one. Yep.
Papa Samo said he was confirming what I said about Shaheed being out. 4 to 6 month recovery for Shaheed.
Damn, that sucks. Forward out from Mo, who loved this guy.
Like the stream for the boys.
Yes,
Papa
sir.
Samo, thank you so much. Kevin Martin, should I stream Sutton tonight or Romeo Doubs for my wide receiver too? Ugh.
Oh, that's a tough one. That's a really good question. It's like, do you lean into the explosive Packers offense that spreads the ball out to so many mouths, or do you go for the horrendous but concentrated Broncos offense where you're going to probably
Sutton's going to get targeted. You convinced me he's going to get targeted. You just didn't convince me he was going to turn that into anything.
No, and I don't think I can. I will say I'd go Dobbs here. I'd rather have the more explosive offense. I love that they're facing Houston. I could see that being one of those games of the week that you look at the end and both teams have 30 points. And of all the Packers receivers, Dobbs is like the least exciting, but he's also the most guaranteed. He's led the team in routes every single week he's been out there. Dating back to last year, he's always been that kind of, I'm your X, I can get it done, I can block. And I might sneak in for a touchdown or sometimes even 2 any given week. So I do like Dobbs. I prefer him to Martin. I prefer him to Sutton myself, Kevin Martin. What about you, Truth?
I agree with you. I just seeing the Sutton stats that you put in the notes that you sent over convinced me that I'm not putting the guy in my lineup.
That's the thing. He's getting so much volume and he's just doing really so little with it.
Yeah. I mean, I could see myself coming around. Like I was interested in getting him in the preseason. Like I would have bid. I bid a few bucks on him in the auction. I was like, okay, because remember he scored a ton of touchdowns last year. So anyway, but he's just not getting it done. What can I say? Also, Eric confirmed that he was talking about Jameson Williams. So we both feel pretty strongly about that answer. We need them.
Absolutely. J-Mo, I love J-Mo in that matchup, a shootout style game. They're giving up the most points to wide receivers are the Vikings right now. And yeah, he's probably the best play of that bunch. And then Garrett Wilson. Yeah, I know Adams is there, but
Garrett Wilson.
It's Garrett Wilson.
Wilson's not going to – I don't think Garrett Wilson is going to lose too much. I really don't.
No.
Charlie says, Wolf, truth, another beautiful Thursday for some possibly disgusting football. Possibly, Charlie?
I think the possibly can be tossed out. It's going to be gross.
I think you spelled definitely wrong. Anyway, moving on.
All right. I can take over the clicking again, too, if you want me to.
Yeah, go for it. Steven says, hey, y'all, should I start the Saints D over the 49ers?
I would go... Yeah, because you got the Chiefs on the other side of things. Saints D, like Bo Nix has actually been relatively careful with the ball, but he gets sacked. No, it's the opposite. He doesn't get sacked much because he's very nimble in the pocket. He does have a good amount of turnovers. We just saw the Saints D give up 51 points and also still scored 9 fantasy points because they got a bunch of turnovers. They get the sacks. So, yeah, I think I would go Saints tonight against the Broncos. What about you?
I don't think the Saints defense is a terrible play. I mean, the Broncos are not exactly an explosive offense yet. And you're right. They do force a bunch of turnovers. Nix is, he's not above turning the ball over. I don't think the Saints is a bad play at all.
I like Bub Means calling our man Tyler with the first super chat of the night. But Tyler started drinking early.
Yeah, Tyler, I'm assuming he was like typing it in on his phone while he was like riding on a tractor or something.
We love you, Tyler. You super chat. I don't mean to dump on you.
Oh, come on. He's a fan. He knows we're just messing around. Darren says Ertz or Kincaid.
I would lean here. It's crazy that this one's like actually a toss-up. You want to just like knee-jerk. It's Kincaid, no doubt, but like Kincaid's really been mediocre, and Ertz has actually been really, really steady. It gets Carolina too. I still think it might be Kincaid, and I do kind of want to see, Cooper comes there, and yeah, maybe now there's a number one in town, but that should probably help Kincaid to have that space get cleared out a bit more.
There's a lot of mouths in Buffalo, man. There's a lot of mouths in Buffalo. I mean, we saw Knox get in the end zone last game. I don't know. Kincaid still Kincaid still had an okay game. Even though he didn't get in the end zone. I think he had like 6 catches for 51 or something. I forget what it was, but I mean, it was an okay tight end game. But I would also lean Kincaid, although it's not a slam dunk.
No, very close, and that's more of a compliment to Ertz than a knock on Kincaid, who seems to be rounding into form. But I do think we're getting the Kincaid touchdown week this week.
Oh, Willie G, and this is who's playing me this week. I have the pleasure of going against the truth this week. I have the Broncos defense, which is pretty much the only thing about this game that seems worth watching tonight. Yeah, you're not wrong. Willie's going to destroy me, by the way, this week.
Yeah. Oh, no. I have Broncos D too, so I hope he destroys you at least tonight, but maybe you give him a good fight. Otherwise, Kamara, at least if you have Kamara, you can be somewhat excited. But yeah, Broncos
maybe.
D.
Do you remember when the Saints were they were no joke. They were being compared to the greatest show on turf Rams teams after 2 games.
Yeah, they had the most points.
People were all in. People were all in. And they're 2-4 now. They're probably about to be 2-5. Like, it's just crazy, like how hyped up people got and how it just came crashing down to earth. Absolutely.
A lot of it is injuries. Again,
everyone on their team
receivers getting hurt. This offense has been really well schemed, really well called. I've really enjoyed watching Clint Kubiak. Those first 2 weeks, I think it was the most points in 2 games of a decade, like 100 years. I think it was.
It's funny because the Saints were literally the team I was fading the most in the preseason. I was like, they're going to be terrible. They might be the worst team in the NFL. And the crazy thing is, I might end up being right, but not at all in the way that I thought I was going to be.
It did not look it, at least at the beginning. No, but
but I might be right.
Well, let's go, Will G, with those Broncos D. I love it here.
And he was clearing that up for us. It was A-Chan.
Gotcha.
Jose says, start Tank, Dell, Pickens, or BTJ. Interesting.
I'm going Tank Dell. Anytime you get Tank, no Nico. We saw it right back in that 30% target share, right back to like a 19 fantasy point day. Tank's the man. I love Tank Dell, and certainly right now he looks. This was a great week as a Pats fan. Got to watch a lot of him. A lot of people are like, oh no, he doesn't look like Tank Dell last year. He's not 7. No, he still looks like Tank Dell.
You look pretty good.
He looked real good. I'm a huge fan of Tank, and anytime that Collins is out, yeah, you got to roll him.
I need him second half of the season, so it was encouraging to see him step up like that.
Absolutely.
Ace Filmer 92, pick one: Chase Brown, Amari Cooper, Jacoby Myers, or Juju. Okay, what do you think?
Man, I want to like my knee jerk is Cooper. Like, oh, let's get him going, Josh Allen. It's gonna be fun, but like it does often take about a week or so at least to get acclimated to your new settings. He might not even play. There's talk that, they might just have to rest him as he gets used to it. I do love what Chase Brown has been doing lately.
He's taking that job over.
He really is taking that thing over, looking way more explosive. So I'm going to go Chase Brown here.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's a good matchup too.
Yes.
All right. Next up, Jose. So Sega Genesis or Nintendo? All right, now we're getting to the brass tacks of things. If we're talking about the original Nintendo, like the Nintendo Entertainment System, Nintendo, hands down. Just so great, so epic, so iconic. You just can't beat it. I remember when I got my first Nintendo, it was the best thing ever. So if we're talking about that, that's my complete 100% answer.
And then if you're not talking about that, but you're talking about N64, I mean, that was that was a golden age with like Super Smash and Mario Kart, the original. And my God, like that was just the ultimate. I grew up with it like at a time where it was like getting together with the boys to play video games was the thing. And like, oh man, like those were the perfect party games to hang out with. And then when you get to college and you play like the drinking and driving Mario Kart game where you have to finish a beer before you. There's just so many fun variations. And I've had near fist fights over Super Smash Brothers. Like,
sure.
Who was your Smash Brothers character before we move on? Like,
I used Donkey Kong a lot. I don't think he was actually one of the better characters, but I really enjoyed the graphics. Now he just pound you into the ground and stuff. Love that.
Yeah.
And just so you know, even now on Nintendo Switch, my family and I, it's like one of the few things that the four of us get together and do, and we all love it, is play Mario Kart. And it's just awesome. It gets intense. Let me tell you.
Such a good game. I was a big I love DK. I love when you throw someone off, you wind up, and then they have no choice but to walk into your fist that you send them flying. That's a great move. Once you get good at it, like Pikachu's unbeatable. If you get good with Pikachu, the lightning bolt that people can't come back from. It's such a fun game. I know you guys don't give a shit. So let's
no, but I love the occasional non-football related.
Yeah, Chrono always comes with a food one, a nice little video game one to get us. It's great stuff.
All right, would you start Means or Pittman?
Oh man, where does the Bub Means line get drawn? That's a big question tonight. I think I got to go Pittman here. I know with Anthony Richardson, it's been such a bad. I mean, you don't have to, but like, if it was a better matchup, like if they were facing the Bucks again, or like anybody, I really am not against starting Means. Other than I just really like this Broncos defense. That's more the issue. I'm not worried about Means. I even think Rattler is fine. Like he can get a receiver some production, and I think that's going to be Means. I just don't know that's going to happen against a really good defense like this Broncos one. I just think they get completely shut down. And so at least this week it's not Means, but I really don't. I think he's a good stash. Like, with Shaheed now done for the year, I think Means has some real juice. There's no doubt about it. And Perry's gone too. He's the clear number 2 rest of the year.
I want Means to do well. I do. I'm not convinced.
I go with Pittman too. Yeah.
Would you drop Bigsby or Tracy for Juju? I would not.
No, I wouldn't. And I like Juju a lot, but I think I'd have both those guys. Bigsby definitely not Tracy. I have Tracy way ahead of Juju and way ahead of a lot of people the rest of the season. Bigsby's one of those ones though. It's like Etienne barely played last week and he still sucked. And the Jags are just
the Jags suck. There's a Jags tax.
And that's why it's like, is Bigsby droppable? Maybe, because there's also a Chiefs tax and it makes all your players way better.
I'm not dropping Bigsby yet. And you're right. There's also a Chief, whatever the opposite of a Chiefs refund or whatever.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah. You're right. You're not wrong about that.
It's close. I'd consider dropping Bigsby for Juju if you needed a receiver, Tyler.
That's true. Depending on your needs, it might be worth it. Willie G says, I had a start-sit question for you, but it looks like Ramondre will sit out again, so I will roll with Pickens as my last flex. Do you think Pittsburgh should start Russ? Well, they are starting Russ to help get Pickens involved.
I don't think you start Russ to get Pickens involved. Like, that's your only goal. You start Russ if you think he's your best quarterback. And can you throw the ball better than Fields? Maybe. But I don't think that's a guarantee. And I think a lot of people are like, oh, now my Pickens stock is through the moon because it's not Fields anymore. I think we're all forgetting how bad Russell Wilson was last year.
Let's not forget.
Yeah, he's real bad. I don't think it's going to last very long. I think Fields is going to end up coming back in this game.
He can't move.
No, he's behind a bad line where he can't move. He's going to get smoked on the first couple drives he plays, and then Fields is going to be back in with an injury, whether it's Russ being a little bitch and I get my calf again, ooh, or Fields just better, So yeah, I don't want anything to do with Russ. I don't think he's going to be that much of a boost for Pickens, which I see a lot of people saying, and I just think Arthur Smith is always going to be an anchor regardless of who the quarterback is too.
I got a question for you before we get back into the mailbag. Who's more unlikable? Russell Wilson or Aaron Rodgers?
Oh man, probably Rodgers, because I think Rodgers is just a prick. He's actually
tough, right? But it's tough, right? I mean,
it's also it's a different question. Who's less likable? Probably Rodgers. But who annoys me more? It's probably Russ.
It's probably Russ. That's why I'm asking.
Yeah, it's just is it difficult? I guess the question also that boils down to is it different to be unlikable versus annoying? Because I think Russ is more annoying, even though Rodgers is very annoying himself. But I think Rodgers is very more hateable, very unlikable. Whereas Russ is just if I had to spend the afternoon with one of them, though, I'd rather hang out with Rodgers than Russ. Russ.
Yeah, you'd at least get some good stories out of it, probably.
Yeah.
Yeah, Russ, you would just be like, God, I wish this lunch would just end.
Who do you think's more unlikable?
Unlikable, Rodgers is more unlikable, but I agree with you on the annoying take with Russ. It's every time I think he just makes me mad. He just really irritates me.
I hate him. I really don't like
him.
Well,
that's why I put it. That's why I asked you. I thought it would be a good.
It's like the Step Brothers, where it's just I just want to punch your face. I just want to punch Russell Wilson's face.
Right. Exactly.
He's such a tool. Right. He is such a tool.
But it came to me, and I had to ask.
Yeah.
Tyler, Denver or Jets? I think we maybe did this for somebody else earlier.
No, we didn't. Tyler asked for a super chat. We kind of rambled about the running back. You might have missed our response there. So sorry if you didn't hear it there, Tyler. We both agreed the Denver Broncos. It's the number 2 to number 1 potential defensive play of the week. And I like the Jets that much more with Russ. I think a lot more sack upside. They're a great play this week. They're my number 4 play, but the Broncos are my 2. I think they're going to smash Rattler tonight.
Those good plays.
Yeah.
Y2J 29. Sup, fellas? Hope you're well. Do I risk it with Pittman and his back or roll the dice on Sutton tonight? Also rolling with Monty and B-Rob sitting Etienne. Pray for me, boys. I don't blame you for that.
No, you definitely roll Monty and B-Rob. That's great. I would probably go Sutton over Pittman, though. You got the back injury, plus you got Richardson back, and he just has done nothing with Richardson this year. That's where I'll go, okay, give me 10 targets tonight. And
he's going to get the targets.
He's going to get the targets. Is he kind of the Cade Otton of receivers? You're gonna eat something, It's that kind of narrative. You're gonna get some volume. Probably not gonna get a whole lot with it, but he could get a touchdown. He's been a touchdown scorer in the past,
You're gonna eat something.
You're gonna eat something.
Last year it was the opposite. It was he was getting 2 catches a game for 30 yards and a touchdown.
Exactly.
It was weird.
Yeah.
Anyway. All right.
Now it's just 5 catches for 30 yards and no touchdowns.
Right, and no touchdowns. Right, but tons of targets. He's just getting peppered. He's a target hog. Jelly of the month: hold and play Philly versus the Giants, or drop and take a chance on Minnesota versus Detroit in a tough matchup. I'm not playing against that Detroit offense. Minnesota really looking good and would like to roster going forward. I do like the Minnesota defense, but I just feel like starting somebody against the Lions offense is just a little too ballsy for my taste. What do you think?
I agree. And first, I'd love to know, what is the jelly of the month this month?
I know.
What a name. That is an awesome name. And I need to know, what is the jelly of the month right now. But so it's funny that you asked this one, Jelly, because my wife has this exact same situation where she has the Vikings D. She's rostered them, and they've been the best defense in fantasy right now. They're averaging the most points per game. And I totally agree. They're worth holding on to. But she also has, because it was their bye week last week, she picked up the Eagles because they were facing the Browns. And now she's like, do I drop them? And I think you just play the Eagles against the Giants. Great matchup for them. And then you can ride out Philly the rest of the year. I mean, the Vikings the rest of the year, because that's a great spot against Detroit. They're a horrible spot to play them against Detroit. Great spot to bench them and then just ride them out the rest of the year is kind of how I view that one. What I would add though, Jelly, is like this does depend on who's on your waiver wire, because you got somebody really tempting out there. I'd almost just say go with Minnesota and bite the bullet and add that player. But if it's, the difference of adding Bub Means, then sure, you can't carry the two defenses. So it really comes down to what's the quality of your waiver wire. Let us know if you're still watching, Jelly, like who you're considering rostering.
Also, let us know what the jelly of the month is. And I mean, like, is this a company that you run? And because, I'm not uninterested.
No, we could get a little sponsorship going over here. Jelly of the month. We'll talk, Jelly.
Bang 007, Adam, St. Brown, Garrett Wilson, Jaden Reed, start 3, bench 1. Who you benching?
Man, I think I bench. So I'm definitely playing St. Brown and Jaden Reed. It comes down to the two Jets. Like, which one do you play? I mean, I probably play Adams over Garrett Wilson.
I know, I probably do too. I can't believe I'm saying it.
I can't believe it. But yeah, he's going to get back with his old boy. Suddenly the hamstring is magically healed. I think of that, the Kevin Nash gift when he just steps out of the wheelchair.
He's fine. Believe me. He's fine.
He's fine.
There is no injury to speak.
He had a bad case of the Raiders, and now he's all cured.
Sure.
Bad case of the O'Connells and the Minshews. So yeah, I'm playing St. Brown, Reed, and Adams. What about you though? Do you do Adams over Garrett Wilson? That's tough.
I do. I mean, I said earlier in the pod, like when Adams gets into this game, Rodgers is going to be trying to force him the ball.
Yeah.
And that in this game, it probably would come at the expense of Garrett Wilson. I like Adams to score at least once if he's playing.
Yeah, I agree. They're going to make sure to get that touchdown. There's no doubt about it.
Robert says the Jets D is on waivers. They're worth picking up. Yes, they are. Yes. I have the Ravens defense. They've been pretty mid. They have been. I would definitely drop them for the Jets if I were you.
Absolutely. Ravens are kind of living on the old namesake of Ray Lewis and Ed Reed.
Yeah, remember when
Ray Lewis? Tough team, but this is not. They're giving up like the second most 20+ yard plays in the league. You can score points on the Ravens. That's why Lamar's been so fun this year, is because he has to constantly play catch up. Why he wasn't fun last year? Because the defense was constantly just smothering teams. This is not the same defense though. They had some key losses. Mike McDonald as well as a play caller. I would definitely rather have the Jets. No doubt about it.
Agreed. That's an easy one for me. Joe says, hey guys, Tracy or Chandler, PPR. Thanks.
I'm going Tracy. I think unless Aaron Jones is out, then Chandler's the featured back. 81% of the snaps the last time he was a starter back in week 15 last year. And he's got 4.38 speed. Like Chandler can break the big ones. So if he's the starter, yeah, it's Chandler. But assuming both of the Aaron Jones and Singletary play, I think Tracy has a better path to becoming the main guy there than Chandler. But that one really comes down to what is Aaron Jones' status, and he practiced today. So I'm leaning Tracy today. What about you?
Yeah, probably for those same reasons. And Charlie actually mentions Tracy and Chandler in his question. I have Tracy and Chandler up against the Singletary Aaron Jones owner this week. Whole lot riding on the Sunday morning active and inactive reports. That is a true fact. Yeah, you ask us too many questions about that. Probably our answer would be wait and see Sunday morning.
Right, exactly.
Right.
That is a big swing, though. Like that, at least you're in the shoes, though, of this point. Like it can only get worse for the guy in front of you. Like, does he have the two starters? Sure, but are the ones that could get ruled out both of his guys? Yes. And if they get ruled out, boom, your guy just leaps up in value. Like you're kind of sitting in the better spot here, I'd say, Charlie.
You're not definitely dead in the water, even if they play too.
No, exactly. Exactly.
Yeah, I agree. Charlie's in a better spot. Just before we move on, where it's quarter of right now, we got 1,350 people in here.
Wow.
Bulldog 09, give us a like, give us a whatever, subscribe.
Please do. A lot of new names here. We'd love to have you guys join. We go live 3 times a week to answer all your questions. Next time will be Sunday at 8 a.m. ahead of London. Would love to have you guys sub so you can consistently come out there and watch the clips that we pump out throughout the week. If you need time, you want to get in and out, that super chat, you guys have been already so generous, helping keep the lights on, build the wolf wing on the branch on the new house here. You guys are the best, though. Thank you so much. I can't believe we were laughing like we're gonna get no one tonight. This horrible game, and this might be the most we've ever had. This is the best. You guys are awesome.
This is actually the most we've ever had.
That's why football is the best. Like a game like this can bring together 1,400 people watching a show all together to talk about this. Like football's awesome. It's so great.
You told me your high on the sit start was maybe around 1,400. So
Yeah.
So I mean, we're gonna take that out right here tonight.
Let's
Bulldog
do it.
0921. What's up, guys? Please pick 2 half PPR: Chase Brown, Garrett Wilson, or BTJ. Wow.
That's a tough one.
That is a tough one.
I think I'm worried about BTJ. Like the first game with Evan Ingram back, and he goes to like the 3rd target. And I still think he's an absolute stud. He's still going to get his, and the Pats defense isn't great. My gut is though Chase Brown and Garrett Wilson are the ones I want to go to here for right now, and let's see BTJ kind of get his legs back under him.
I agree. I'm a BTJ owner, and I'm a proud BTJ owner, and I want him to be the best one out of these 3 on this list. But right now, Trevor Lawrence is giving me the ick a little bit.
Yeah. Trevor Lawrence is really bad. Like that's, I hate to say bench BTJ though, because he is so explosive. Takes one play, and I love watching the guy.
I don't feel like you can bench Chase Brown though.
Not the way he's taking over that backfield.
That's what I'm saying. And I mean, you could make an argument for Wilson, but I just don't think I'm willing to do that right now. I hate it. And I'm starting BTJ myself, so I hope he has a good game. But I totally hear your take on that.
Yeah, I think I'm going BTJ, but great options, Bulldog. Tough problem to have, no doubt.
Robert says, is Mostert a better option than Rashad White? Oh, God. Rashad White's such a bad option.
Yeah.
I just don't see ever playing White. I have Mixon, Montgomery, Chase Brown, and Kareem Hunt. Yeah, I just want to wash my hands of the Tampa Bay backfield. So the Tampa Bay backfield scares the hell out of me right now. But if I'm getting rid of one of them, it's Rashad White.
Yeah, that's the thing. They call it a hot hand, and I mean, he's got the hands of ice here. He's horrible. He stinks.
He's had one good carry this year.
Yeah, exactly. That anybody, you could have driven a truck through that hole.
And he still didn't score. How did he not score? I'll tell you this, Bucky would have scored.
Bucky would have scored. Yeah, and that's what stinks too is I love Bucky. I think he's such a great player, and even now I'm kind of questioning him because Sean Tucker looked really good. Everybody has looked good in that offense in the backfield other than Rashad White. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. Robert, wash your hands and don't
wash your hands. He's never touching your lineup. Even so, now you need Sean Tucker and Bucky Irving to go down for you to consider Rashad White. And it's just not, he's probably going to get the first carry. He's going to be the starter, and he stinks. He's going to eventually be the one that gets ridden out of here. Right. You have so many good backs here, too. Like, you don't need Rashad White.
They're going
to pick up Mostert, though, it's like, I don't know if you need Mostert either, but I'd rather have Mostert than White.
He's a better option than Rashad White, though.
Yes.
T. Varn says Sutton or Worthy.
I gotta go Worthy here. I know Juju's kind of getting the layup role, but Worthy's still getting deep. He's still explosive. I'm there. I like Worthy.
Willie G says, I also just want to say I love the idea of being able to include fab dollars in trades. I wish my league would adopt it. I got to be honest, Willie, like not enough people in our league are willing to trade for it to even matter, but I also like that.
I think it's a great move. Yeah, like just to push it over the edge because there's so many deals that are close to fair, but you just could use another $10 a fab and it pushes it over the edge, I think it's a great move.
I agree. Pick one, Chase Brown, Cooper, Myers, or Juju. I think he already gave us that question.
Oh, yeah. And then we said Chase Brown, right?
Yeah, we did. Bub Means or Najee?
Hello. You got to go Najee. He's coming off his best game of the year. He finally looked like he's okay last week. You're going to get 18-ish touches with Najee.
I respect the question.
Yeah.
Michael DeGangi, which injured player would you start in flex if they come back this week? Rate them 1, 2, 3. Chubb, Shakir, or TJ Hawkinson?
I would probably rank them in the exact order you typed them.
Me too. Have you read the letter? Have you seen the article on Chubb?
Yeah, exactly. Just read the Player Tribune, and you're going to put Chubb in your lineup. Obviously, we still got to track it because it could come out a report like Chubb's only going to play like 10 snaps. Right. And even then, you still don't know. But like, if something like that does pop up, it's going to be tough to put him in there. But as of today, like if I had to lock it in today, I'm getting that in my lineup. I'm letting him come first off the bus, intimidate your opponent. Like it's Chubb. He could just be right back. And I want him in my lineup. If there's no report that he's going to be overly limited, I want him in my lineup.
Look, I got Chubb for $1 with my last pick in the auction, and I was just like, I was giddy about it, just thrilled. And now I'm like,
he could sit all year, and just to have Chubb's presence in your fantasy locker room is worth $1 by a mile.
Taking up an IR spot, not hurting anybody. It was worth the $1.
Yes.
Bulldog 0921. Please pick one for this week. Full PPR: Algier, Bucky, or Antonio Gibson. Oh wow. Go ahead.
I was going to say if Ramondre sits, and I think we might know by now because he has to travel with the team tonight. So if he doesn't travel, you got to go for Gibson again. I know it wasn't pretty, but he played nearly every snap. He got the vast majority of the work. And now you get the Jags, and anybody can move the ball and put up points against the Jags. So if he's the feature back, it's him. Now, if this is like who's the better of a committee running back, it's got to be Algier coming off a 19-point day, seeing more carries than Bijan Robinson and looking really good with it. And a good matchup for Algier this week as well. So all things equal, I'm going Algier. But Gibson, if the starter's ruled out, I think I go Gibson.
It does seem pretty likely Ramondre is going to be out. So, yeah, I agree with you. It's funny. I think he's actually probably maybe the third best of these running backs. But he's probably the guy I would pull the trigger on this week, assuming Ramondre is out.
I think he's definitely the third best of the running backs in terms of talent. But, yeah, it's a volume-driven position for the most part. But, that just goes to show you how much volume matters at running back.
Arthur D. Westside. Love that name.
This can't be real.
Come on, man. Arthur D. Westside, Esquire. Should I start Bub Means over Mike Evans this week?
That can't be real.
No, come on. I understand the temptation, but no.
Yeah. The Bub Means temptation is very real. Come on. You're playing Mike Evans over Bub Means. Thank you for that has to be a joke. Arthur, please tell me that's a joke because that's a good one. That would make me laugh really hard if that's a joke. But right now, I'm more worried that that question's even being asked.
What if we just really pushed? So Mike, this is a variation on the question he just asked, but he's including Mike Evans here. How would you rank these 4 injured players and their chances to play? Mike Evans, Nick Chubb, Shakir, or Hawkinson. I mean, I believe Chubb is going to play.
I think all these guys are going to play. I know there's a little worry about Evans with a little soft tissue thing popping up, but I understand that. But it seems like he's going to go, and you're facing the Ravens, giving up tons of big plays. That's an Evans script if I've ever seen one. I rank them again exactly how you have them typed up here, Michael.
Maybe that's why Westside is concerned, and he's concerned about Evans, and he sees Bub Means right there in front of him, and he's like, "Why the hell not? Let's roll the dice."
Temptation, Bub Means, baby.
We're gonna go to rapid fire in about 5 minutes. We're well over 1,400 now, Wolf. Chris Kana, is Amari Cooper playing this week?
That's we don't know yet. They did come out and say they hope he plays, but even if he plays, it could be. I have to bump him down in my rankings because there's like he could play, but also only play like to half the snaps, get his feet wet. So he's risky this week, even though I do love him long term with the Bills.
Chris is just ranking those for
he's helping him out. Yeah.
Aaron says worried about Kincaid's matchup this week. So with that said, is Ertz the better start? I think we answered this earlier, actually.
Yeah, I don't. Tennessee's a good defense, but I don't do much stock into like tight end matchups. I think tight end just sucks, and you get lucky if they get a touchdown. He's going to catch probably 5 balls. So that's one thing Kincaid has over him and Ertz both catch a lot of balls, so it makes them both pretty good options. But I'll go for the guy in I was just going to say the Bills offense, but then the Commanders offense is awesome too. Yeah, I like Kincaid though.
I told you before that Tampa Bay had the most touchdowns this year. I mean, Washington's like 4th. I mean, they're like right up there. Yeah, they're like a couple touchdowns behind. Buffalo's also pretty high.
Yeah.
Aaron Cooley, Juju, and Antonio Gibson on waivers. Drop any of these guys for him. Ray Davis, Braylon Allen, Charbonnet, or Likely. Yeah, I mean, maybe I would. If you don't have if you got a good tight end, I'd drop Likely for Juju probably.
Yeah, when are you going to ever use Likely? You don't have a good tight end. Like, I don't think you can ever trust Likely starting. So I would definitely drop Likely for Juju. And I mean, Gibson could be starting this week, but I just think there's so much more value. You don't need to start Gibson. Now, if you had to start Gibson, sure, you could drop Braylon Allen and pick up Gibson because you need a running back to play out of this group. But if you don't need to start one, Braylon Allen, Ray Davis have way more contingent upside than Gibson ever could have. So unless you need to start Gibson, I would leave him on the waiver wire. But if you are desperate, Aaron, he could be a really nice plug and play ahead of any of these guys. But I would definitely drop Likely for Juju, yes.
I agree with you. And as far as you saying when would you ever play Likely, you can't trust him. I agree with you again. And he's the tight end 5.
Yeah.
Nick, how you guys doing? Need a pickup this week? Sermon or Algier, full PPR?
I would go Algier. It's one of those things, especially if you need a plug and play. It's like, okay, you might get 1 week of Sermon getting a little more volume, but probably not even more volume. And Algier just has so many more paths to a massive ceiling, where Sermon this is the best you're going to get, and it's not good. So I'd rather have Algier.
Agree.
And then we had Stephen Clare.
West Side coming in off the top rope again. He likes Ertz against Carolina. See, that seems real. I like Ertz against Carolina.
I do too. It's very fair to, if you wanted to go Ertz over Kincaid, that's totally fine.
It's not a crazy take at all.
Yeah.
So now I feel like West Side is maybe on the level. Ryan Andrews, who do I flex? Achane, Myers, Tank, or BTJ?
I go Tank here. I like Tank now. With Nico out, you just keep riding the Tank train.
Also, Nick says, how do you feel on Estime just joining? I might have missed it. He literally, I saw when this question came up into the comments, he literally wrote this like 30 seconds after you finished your Estime spiel. So can you give a 30-second summation of your thoughts on it?
240-pound monster bowling ball, averaging right now 6.8 yards per pop on his limited touches. We got Javonte Williams fumbling the ball all over the place. This is the handpicked guy by Sean Payton, who keeps saying time and time again, I want to get him more touches, especially heading into this game. He said it's going to be a point of emphasis, and he gets a great matchup to come out here and establish himself as the guy. I wouldn't be shocked at all if we leave Thursday Night Football and look at Audric Estime as the number one back.
The Wolf tweeted this during the show. So he believes that he wanted to have his stamp on it just in case. So that's basically the gist of it.
I would say anybody out there, if you have any type of bench trash to cut, or if your kicker's nothing meaningful to you and you can if Estime doesn't show up, you can cut him for a kicker later. I would just get this guy on my team and see what he does.
Just in case. Millie C, what do you say? Lobo, hold or cut Fields?
Again, it all comes down to your roster needs. And if you have a quarterback where you're not going to really play Fields anyways, and I say cut him most likely. I do think he's going to be back starting for the Steelers probably as early as this week. I'm not worried about Russ holding on that job. It just comes down to he's okay. He's not a huge fantasy stud. He's had a couple big games, but if they can, they'll just bleed it out with the running backs. So I don't think Fields is a must hold, but again, it all comes down to who's on your waiver wire, who you cutting him for. But most cases, I think he can be let go. Yeah.
Sim says, should I trade Davante Adams for Jonathan Taylor? Running back one is Saquon. I got Eckler, Mostert, Tracy, Braylon, Brooks on the IR. Wide receivers are AJ, London, Diggs, BTJ, and Pickens. Should you trade Davante Adams for Jonathan Taylor?
I think with that stacked of a receiver core, I mean, Taylor, this injury is annoying. It's lingering. I don't know what's kind of going on with the ankle. So it's risky. And then you're trading Adams away right when he gets with his quarterback, his boy. But all that to say is, I'd probably this roster, if Taylor just comes back, they're playing it safe with him. They're getting him to 100, and then you get Jonathan Taylor for the second half of the year, and you have between London, Diggs, and AJ,
you're only one deep on running backs. So if you could pick up Taylor, even though it makes me cringe a little bit, I think I would do it too.
Right, and you have a lot of guys that could emerge. Brooks, Eckler, with injuries, Tracy, Braylon, Eckler, all could be low end running back one, high end running back two. Maybe Brooks by the end of the year is a beast, but you have a lot of hypothetical running back too right now. Whereas Taylor, you could have two top 5 running backs for your stretch run with 3 wide receiver ones. That roster could be tough to top if everything plays your way. But it's a tough one because Adams really could take off with Rodgers.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, I would win. Says I made the move. Wolf, It is 8:00. Let's go rapid fire. I'll jump in if I hear anything that I feel like I need to say something on.
Awesome, guys. Record Thursday, maybe record all time in terms of live.
Record all time based on what you told me.
For the Saints Broncos, there was 1 week we got to 2K recently on the maybe not 2K, really? But either way, this is definitely Thursday. This might be the all-time record of live concurrent viewers. Guys, thank you so much. One last call as we get into rapid fire mode for that thumbs up button, for any new names out there to hit that subscribe, that heart button on Twitter, the retweet, every one of those. It's free to do, and it greatly, greatly helps your boys. So please do consider doing that for us. We did miss a super chat right here, by the way. 754.
All right,
AR candidates.
Starting hunt, pick one. Najee, Tracy Jr. or Bigsby.
Thank you so much, AR Cannabis. I think, especially after last weekend, how do we go back to the Bigsby well, right? I got to go Najee. He rolled. He got his 20 carries. Looked really good. Jalen Warren was back, and it still was the Najee show. The Jets aren't a great run D. I like going Najee here, safest. Now, that being said, if we do get Singletary ruled out, it's Tracy. It's not even close. Tracy's the clear-cut number 1 pick here. And last week, I did tell you Tracy over Bigsby, too. So I was definitely on the Tracy train last weekend. So, yeah, I'm going to go Najee for now. But if we do get word that Singletary is going to miss, it's easily Tracy. Now you go Hunt over all those guys right now, by the way. I think you're smart there.
He agrees on that. Our cannabis, sorry, we missed you. Our moderator just, is a no-show tonight, just slacking in New Jersey.
I think I completely forgot to send him the link. I will.
No, it's his fault.
Yeah, it's definitely his fault. So we were on Joel. Here comes the rapid fire. Thank you again so much for all your super chats, all you guys being here. It's so greatly appreciated. Humbling that we can get this type of crowd together for this type of game. You guys are the best. Sit one. Hill, Neighbors, McLaurin, Flowers, full PPR. I have Daniels. I'm sitting Tyreek Hill there. Love all those receivers. I'm just going to wait till Tua is back to trust Hill when I have that good of firepower. Thumbs up, chat. Let's go. Thank you, Fernando. Thumbs up, baby. Should start Bo Nix or thumbs down Trevor Lawrence. I would go Trevor Lawrence over Bo Nix, but, man, I don't like it. I'd go Drake May well ahead of either of those guys if he's out there for you. Naughty Otter, Bateman, Watson, or Shakir in the flex this week. I would go I'll go for the big play of Watson in that shootout style game, especially if Nix is going to miss it. Or Tyron Tracy, easily Tracy if Singletary's out. I'd probably still go for Watson, maybe Shakir actually. I think with Cooper still getting into form. I'm going to go for the big play of Watson. And I'm going to, again, for you, Fernando, I'm going Watson. Big play. Let's go for it. Added Estime. Hey, there it is. Hopefully he's this year's Kyron. Why not, right? Like, go for it and see. And yeah. Worst case, you want to have a kicker. Sure. Let's see what happens. And you can just cut him if he's not good. Can I safely start Andy Dalton? I mean, against Washington, I think you can be safe. You can start Andy Dalton and be safe. I think it's a great matchup. And Dalton's cooked a few times this year. I think he can cook again. Do I risk starting an injured Mason or start Tracy? If Mason's in and Singletary's in, I go Mason. If Singletary's out, regardless of what Mason says, I'll go Tracy over him. Same with Mike Evans. Play him, or do I place him with Mooney, Cooper, or Pittman? I'd still go for Evans unless we get some reports that it's really worse than expected. And if you had to pivot off him, I'd go to Mooney, but I don't want to pivot off him. Chubb or Javonte? I'm going to go Chubb, Uzier. I don't like
You read the article?
Yeah. Have you read the player tribute? Have you heard about him going to his high school gym where all he needs is a water fountain and a weight rack?
And 700 pounds of weights. Yes.
Love this man. David Kim, traded McLaurin, Ingram, and Dobbins for Laporta, Cup, and Jacobs. Did I win? Gun to my head right now, I think you did, but Cooper Cup, if he comes back and smashes, he ends up being the best player of that deal. So we'll find out, David, but I like the deal, especially if you're in win now mode. Hey, fellas, Gibbs, start Javonte, Mostert, Rashad White, or Gibson. I would go, this is probably where I might go Javonte. I don't know.
I was thinking maybe Gibson.
Yeah, Gibson start, and then maybe it's Gibson. I'll go Javonte, I guess, out of that one. I don't like him. Have both Lamar and Jane Daniels. Who would you rather trade away? Whoever you can get more for, just have either my quarterback 1 and 2, and they're both in the same tier. I'd rather have Lamar if I had to pick only one of these guys. But honestly, they're so equal to me. It's whoever could you get more for in your league's eyes.
Yep.
2 possible trade scenario. I can't do a 2 possible trade type of question.
10 minutes. 10 minutes.
We got 10 minutes. Sorry, Turgay, Kugla. I wish I could get that for you, but too much rapid fire right now. Pick 1 wide receiver, 1 flex, half PPR. Sutton, Christian Kirk, J-Mo, Juju, Singletary, or Madison. I would go for the wide receiver. It's J-Mo 10 out of 10 times. And for the flex, it's Juju if he's healthy. And if not, I actually do like Alexander Madison now that he's taken over that backfield. Start Achane or Jacobs. I would go Jacobs over Achane for right now until we see it from Achane. Pick 1 for week 7. Demario Douglas, Brian Thomas, or Jacoby Myers. I'm going Brian Thomas on that one, bullseye. Javonte Williams or Bucky Irving. Oh, man, I'm going to go Bucky, but I don't feel great about it. And it was Jameson. All right, thanks for the clarification, Eric. Trade Lamar or Daniels in either Monty or Chuba or Mason for Derrick Henry. If you can do Chuba and one of those QBs, do that because at some point Brooks comes back. And, yeah, I would do that, no doubt.
I'll trade Monty. He's a touchdown machine.
No. And even Mason, though. Just anyone, either of these guys other than Monty. Because Mason and Chuba both have, like, the kind of pumpkin arriving at some point, it would seem.
Agree.
Droid, 209. Start 2 flex and 1 QB. JK, Achane, Ladd, Chase Brown. And then, so we got to bench one of these guys. I think I bench Ladd McConkey here. And just go with the 3 running backs. And then Kyler, Purdy, or Rodgers. I'm going to go Purdy on that one for the QB situation. Aaron Cooley, have Murray pick up May off the waivers, but would have to drop Braylon Allen, Ray Davis, Charbonnet, Sherman, or likely. Need upside this week. Again, I mean, Murray always has upside, so I can't say he doesn't, but I love May against the Jags. I think he kills it. I think he can drop likely. Are you starting defense Packers, Chargers, Saints, or Jags? I would lean the Packers are sneaky, the number 2 defense on the year. They've just been great, and it's a tough matchup, but they keep riding it out. What's up, guys? Appreciate your content. Thank you, Mike. 1 point, pick one. Mason, Wandale, Juju, Achane, or Demario Douglas. You can only have one of them. I'm probably going Jordan Mason if he's healthy. If not, man, maybe this is where I go back to Achane. But Wandale is such a PPR beast. Like, he's a scam in PPR. He just always catches 8 balls. So that's tough. That's really tough.
Mario's going to have a big week, I'm telling you.
He is. I like DeMario this week, too. Dobbins or Bigsby. I got to go Dobbins 10 out of 10 times there. Trade Debo for Brian Robinson. If you really need, especially at half point per carry, I like that for Brian Robinson. It's fair. Depends on what your team needs are. But, yeah, I'd rather have Debo in most cases. But if you really need the running back, it's not unfair. Saints, Broncos, Rams, or Eagles, I would go Broncos for sure there. Droid. Chat, do I accept this trade? I get Debo for B-Rob, says Ross. We'll see. Rob favors his best out of 3. We don't have time for that, but we should do that one time.
We'll do that next week.
That's a great one. All righty. Cameron Zick. So chat helping each other out. Love to see it. You guys are the best. Cameron Zick. What would you do with Bucky Irving? He's looked phenomenal, but Bell's, 3-headed. Would you sell high and trade? What's fair deal? I don't know. That it's so hard to be like, what I have the rest of the season big board, Cameron Zick, but I am worried. I'm very worried about a 3-headed committee. Yes. So if you could sell him,
I think it would be tough for you to sell him high right now. Honestly, I have him. I don't think I can, but if you could, yes, I would sell him.
If you could, then I would. MHJ Neighbors Downs. Whew, good receivers. You mean Bub Well? He means Bub Well. I love it. Oh, Jaws. So he's calling his team for the trade. Got offered AJ Brown for Mason and Reed. I'll take AJ Brown on that one. I think Mason's only got a couple more weeks. I think CMC is due back, so we'll see. Debo or Metcalf? I would go Debo and Achane or Pollard. I'm going Pollard. I love Pollard this week. Ingram or Kraft? I'm going to go Ingram on that one. Okay. I love Kraft, but I think Ingram's just going to be steady targets.
6 minutes.
All right, let's roll. Should I trade my Mixon and Amari for Neighbors? 4th running back, Neighbors be running. Yeah, I think so. Especially with that depth, I think that's a good deal for you. But that's you're giving up 2 great players there too. But I would rather have Neighbors at the end of the day. Wrong Slav. Chrono Shaw, which defense should I stream this week? Texans, Seahawks, Rams, or Commanders? Oh boy, I don't like any of these. I don't know.
I'll be honest. I like the Rams the best of that group.
Yeah, maybe against the Raiders. Sure. Pick 2 at PPR. Bub Means, Waddle, Javonte, Judy. Oh, man. I think I'm going to go to Bub Means on this one. Just so we can get him.
So gross.
I just don't trust any Chargers. I mean, any Colts right now.
I'm putting Bub Means out there in that group.
I'm going Javonte, Bub Means. I know we said we didn't really love any of the starters tonight, but like Judy, maybe you get Watson's players. You get Watson's number 1, maybe, but maybe I go Judy and see if he steps into the role. I'll go Judy and Javonte there. That's how I play that. Bubs. Hey, Ted Cruz going the Bubs. Pick up Tucker, Vidal, Wright. Pick 2 guys. I would go Vidal and Wright. Tucker just a 3-headed nightmare. As good as he looked, I'm worried about it. Predict next week's score. Sorry, Krana. We don't have time for that, my man. Came in too late, but I love to see you. Audric tonight, love to stash him. Michael Wicks. I think he could be, one of those absolute smash plays and take over the backfield. We shall see. Bring back the bald one. Screw the algorithm. No offense. We do miss CJ. We'd love to have him pop on. No doubt about it. I told him you miss him, Giuseppe. So hopefully you're still chatting with him. Chill Out Cafe, Javonte or Pittman. AR backstairs me. I would go Javonte. I do get scared by him being back. Courtland Sutton or Demario Douglas. I do like Demario. I'm with you, Truth, for Lance Bunn. And you have great wide receiver 1 and 2. Means tonight, if you're really desperate. But again, love the athlete, love the size, love the potential target volume. But I hate the matchup against Denver, even without Surtain. I'm worried. Jamo or Javonte tonight? I'd go Jameson Williams 10 out of 10 times there. Tyrone Tracy in my flex or Chase Brown. Singletary's out, it's Tracy. If Singletary's in, it's Chase Brown for your R&M. Bub Means a win tonight. I hope so. People loving Means. I hope he pans out. Like I said, I believe in the player. I believe in the offensive play calling, but I don't know about Rattler, and I certainly don't know about the matchup. So I don't want to play him if I don't have to. And I don't. There's not very have to play Bub Means situations. I'm excited to stash him though. I really am. Najee over Bigsby or Tracy Jr.
I think he's super chatting that.
That was a super chat, and we said Najee unless Singletary's ruled out. Fellas, am I crazy for considering Bub Means over Courtland? You're not crazy, but again, Courtland's like you're hoping Bub Means gets the volume Courtland's been getting, but it's going to be coming against one of the worst matchups from a QB that's still
a guy that hasn't proven he can throw in the NFL.
No, Bo Nix isn't great, but at least he's gotten the mail there, some but. So I'd go Courtland if I had to pick one of those two to the Cosmos. Help me out here, please. Try to decide between Javonte and Pittman. Well, I have Bud Means locked in. Oh, man. Everybody's loving him. Okay, let's roll. I would go Javonte over Pittman myself, but I don't love it. I just don't. I don't ever want Pittman with Anthony Richardson.
3 minutes.
Javonte, Bucky, or Singletary. I think I go Javonte. Maybe I go Bucky. Just play the talent there. Because what if Rashad White does get ruled out?
I would probably play Bucky there, but I don't like those choices.
No, I don't either. Andrews or Laporta. I definitely got to go Laporta there. One big week from Andrews. I don't trust the route share. Sherman or Means. I'd go Bub Means in that case. I have no interest in Sherman. Javonte, a good start. He's got a good matchup, good volume. I think Audric Estime takes it over, and I do not like Javonte. We comfortable rolling the Broncos? Not only comfortable, DiLorenzo. We're loving rolling the Broncos defense today. Absolutely. Javonte over Tank, Ladd, or Bucky. I'd probably rather go – Tank is Tank Dell. It's 100% Tank Dell. And if not, I do like Ladd McConkey a lot this week too. Can you choose two for my flex? McBride, Addison, Mooney, and Pittman. Ooh, I go definitely not Pittman. I love all the rest of the three. I'm going to go McBride and Addison myself, though. Really good options, though. Start Sutton. Depends who the other options are. Detroit Sound, but volume hog. Not very efficient or productive with the work, but, volume does matter. And so, yeah, you can definitely start him. It just depends on who else you have. Means tonight or Sean Tucker? I'd go Means tonight, Ben. I just don't. Sean Tucker was awesome, but a three-headed nightmare, that's a whole different beast. All good, fellas. Thanks. Yeah, I started Bigsby and Tracy last week because I couldn't decide. You got both in there at least. I love Tracy. If Single's out, he's an every week start. Who wins in Debo for Brian Robinson? He's asked that a million times. I think Debo's better, but if you really need a running back, it's not unfair to go Debo for Brian Robinson. Singletary, Bucky, Mondre, Pittman, Means need one running back, one flex for Lex plant some trees. I would go. I don't think Ramondre's playing, so assuming he's out, I'd go Bucky. And then the flex, I would maybe go Singletary and hope for a touchdown. Maybe Means. Maybe this is a Bub Means one. A lot of Bub Means interest tonight. I'm intrigued by this now.
So much.
A lot of Bub Means out there. I have Dak picked up May for this week. I love the May fill-in. Jags, literally 12 more points per your season average when you face the Jags. It's incredible. Means or Pickens. It's Pickens, but man, Means is not that far off, Brandon.
We are very close to kickoff right now, Wolf.
All righty. We'll call it at kickoff. We have like 5 more. Let me rip through them. DK, Diggs, and Wilson, 2 out of them. I'd bench Wilson there and just see what happens with him and Adams. Need a flex value, full PPR, Michael Wilson, Douglas, or Waddle. I like DeMario there for you, Tunes. McConkey or Bigsby. I'm going to go Ladd, I think, Steven, unless Tank's ruled out. Mostert, Justice Hill, or Braylon Allen when Stevenson sits again. I'd go Mostert there, Tunes. Bub Means or Ayuk, I'd go Ayuk, but I don't mind that you guys are asking it. Like, that's how pissed off people are about him. Start Troy Franklin, I don't know about that, Johnny, on the spot, but hey, good luck. Drop New York Jets defense or Estime. I'd rather have Estime. I can't wait to see what he does. Go Dodgers. Leadoff home run. Wow, good shit. I think I might end up tuning into the NLCS over the Thursday night.
I'll definitely have some interest in it, yeah.
Or at least the split screen, which is awesome that you can do on YouTube TV now. And thank you, Steven. Absolutely. You have a good night, too. Hey, go Bub Means. I know it sounds like a lot of people are starting him. Like the player. Love the volume. I hope you all stashed Estime. Let's see what he does tonight. Make the game fun for yourself. Have some action. Let's see what happens. Even a bench guy panning out is huge for something. And go Broncos defense. I know you're facing some truth.
Giuseppe, no offense taken about the CJ comment. And it's okay to miss CJ. He's great. But just to be clear for the record, I'm the OG, not CJ.
Exactly. Truth is, the first ever show was Truth on the podcast.
And I'm old.
Show, man, but
I'm also old. So I'm the OG. Yeah, but we do love CJ, and it's great to see people turning out for all our shows. Honestly,
I know it's the best. You guys are awesome. I appreciate everybody showing up. It is so CJ's new schedule is tricky for the season too.
Right.
So
it's still around though. He's
still with the engine behind all the content coming out.
Right.
CJ's not like God. I hope people know that. Like
he's the great and powerful nuts.
Right. Yeah, we still have all the OGs. The Keegs is still cooking. Jimmy, of course. You know, we got everybody still here. Am I crazy for starting Bub over Andrews? No, that's not crazy. I actually like Bub over Andrews. Sutton will be followed by Lattimore. I was worried about that, Johnny.
Means is chalk.
Means is chalk. So that's probably for DFS.
Go Knicks with a big scramble.
Oh, right. There you go. All righty. Right. Cheers, Charlie. Let's go enjoy this game. Best of luck to you guys. I'll see you Sunday at 8 a.m. and all the content in the meantime, rotostreetjournal.com, my rankings, all of our written set starts, all that good stuff up there at rotostreetjournal.com. Check it on out. In a world full of fancy sheep, be the wolf. Later, guys.